Bitcoin has crashed by 10% overnight. Is this the beginning of a longer term correction, or are we likely to get one more impulsive move towards 25,000? Well, today we're going to do detailed technical analysis on pattern, really using Elliott wave theory, which is one of the best ways of reading the fear and greed and price psychology. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's dive straight into Bitcoin. With Bitcoin today, we're going to focus on the 1 hour chart, and I want to really focus on this part of the market because what's really clear, since last couple of days, we've had this 5-wave impulsive move to the downside, and that can normally mean the beginning of a correction on the downside. However, there's a few nuances that we need to really pay attention to, which is this part of the market. What does this look like? And we're going to really make some sense of this. And again, we're just going to really stack the odds on what I believe is going to happen, because the weekly momentum is now what's called overbought. And it tells us that we're due a correction. We're due a big correction. We've got some major news announcements this week as well. But let's just really simplify a few things. First of all, I'm going to draw this 5-wave structure here. We've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, at first glance, even when I was looking at this at first glance, this is also referred to as an overbalance of price. It's the biggest move to the downside that we've had in a while. We've been waiting and anticipating a top. However, when I zoom out a little bit and I look at it from this perspective, this actually still looks like a correction. It still looks like some type of A, B, and a potential wave C down here. I'm going to put a big question mark, because if this is the case, we're then likely going to get one more move to the upside, hitting the $25,000 range. So I'm actually trading this long. Just transparency here. I'm trading this long short term because I think there's a nice opportunity because there's just it's almost like panic buying, one last surge, one last blow off, and that can be quite impulsive to the upside. So what I want to make sense of is this correction. Now, there's many types of corrections, but the most simple is an A, B, C zigzag. Now, an A, B, C zigzag is not this. This is a bit more complicated. There's a bit more psychology going on. This more looks like a running ABC. What I mean by that is we got this move here, like a 3-wave structure. We got this, what looks like a potential wave B up here, which is unusually higher than the beginning of wave A, and a potential wave C down here. Now, hopefully that's making some sense. By the way, if you're brand new to Elliott Wave, I've actually got a 4 secrets masterclass. One of the secrets is pattern recognition, how to read fear and greed in a practical manner to help you make objective buying and selling decisions. This is free. It's in the description link below. Check it out. It will just take your trading to the next level. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to tell you my exact thinking on this right now, is I'm going to put a big question mark here because it's not confirmed. And again, when I was first looking at this morning, and I was very aware of, because I've been watching this like a hawk, this move to the downside, the initial thinking is, okay, that is an indication that this top has been made, this swing low has been taken out. But again, the more I look at it, I go, this just looks very corrective, very corrective. So we're probably going to get one more move to the upside and then a larger degree correction. So we can see Bitcoin last hour is starting to take off. But what I'm going to do now is I like to do something called double think. Is to think, what if you're right and what if you're wrong? If you're right, what should happen? And if you're wrong, what's the minimum that should happen so you can protect yourself from the downside? So when I'm looking at this market, I'm going to zoom in over here. Remember, markets move in 5s and 3s, right? So sometimes it's nice to just zoom in and look at the recent 5-wave move to the downside, just independent of everything else. This 5-wave move to the downside, just forget what's happened in the past few days and weeks. Let's look at this 5-wave move to the downside. The question you want to ask yourself is, what is the minimum that should occur if this is in fact not a wave C, and we're just going to see a market continue to the downside? Well, after any 5-wave move, we should typically get a minimum of at least 3 waves. And at this stage of the market, it's a good idea, if you can, to become risk-free. If you're trading it, you go long over here, stop loss below this low, and if the price reaches over here, lock in some immediate profits or tighten your stop loss where you can move it to break even so you don't lose no money. So what I'm looking at here is I'm going to show you 2 things, and then we'll keep it quite snappy today. If I just zoom back out, the expectation, if we do get one more high, I'm going to draw it from over here. I'm using something called an external retracement, and most wave 5s, or like a final part of an impulse, would go into this range over here. So we're talking about a $25,000 Bitcoin, right? Potentially, right? That is the anticipation if we do get this high exceeded. So we're going to be on high alert that if this occurs, it's probably going to be a top lasting for quite a few weeks. So don't get too, if it really takes off, don't just be mindful that we're due a correction. We are due a correction. But on the same note, I'm also looking at what's the minimum that should occur if this doesn't occur, right? And I want to protect myself from the downside. Well, if I just zoom in back over here, I want to show you this because it's good practice to do this. I'm just going to get rid of this line as well. The minimum that should occur is a simple ABC correction. And what I mean by that is this. I'm just going to do these retracements. The minimum is 50%, maximum 78.6. And we can also do a quick time retracement as well. Most corrections will go at least into this range over here in terms of time. So this is my breakdown on Bitcoin. 2 things. One, and we'll finish on this. Just going to draw it like this. I'm leaning towards Bitcoin's price getting towards 25,000. However, the minimum expectations, and we're not that far off now, is this zone over here. I've actually gone long above this high, and original stop loss was here, and now moved to over here. So it's very minimal risk. But if Bitcoin's price hits 23,200, I want to be risk-free, where I'll move my stop loss to break even. But I want to be in the market because there's a good probability we're going to get is going to shoot up. And then if it does hit the 24,000, 25,000 range, just look to lock in profits. In fact, let's just finish on one last thing because we want to get real context on this. So I'm just going to zoom right the way out and right the way out, see if I can get all this price data in. In fact, I'm going to go to a 4-hour chart. Go to a 4-hour chart. I just want to go into this part of the market here. Sometimes it's good just to get perspective on what we're looking at. We've had this impulsive move up, little top over here. We've had some type of correction. We've had this very impulsive move. So even though we're looking at this potential move here, this is potentially the end of a larger degree move to the upside, and I anticipate some type of larger degree correction. And I am gonna finish on this last thing. I'm gonna go to a weekly chart, top left hand corner, and what I want to just bring to your attention is this momentum shift. We've had the blue line cross over the red. The last time that happened, look what Bitcoin's price did. So we're due for some type of correction. Whether it's going to go into this range and make a new low, we don't know that yet, but we are due this. So the macro bias is sideways to down, right? Really down. The immediate trend, the immediate pattern position, maybe next 24 to 36 hours is, in my opinion, is up. We'll see how it unfolds. We want to also be really aware that there's the Fed announcement on Wednesday, and then there's non-farm payroll, which is the jobs report, on Friday, which is the first Friday of the month. And that can mean markets are very volatile during that phase, and major reversals tend to occur during those phases as well. So take your trading to the next level. The free masterclass, 4 secrets. We covered one of them in depth today, which is Elliott wave patterns. And we're looking at a particular type of correction, which is a running ABC. And we'll probably get a big move to the upside. But again, always manage your risk and expectations as well. Let's finish on a quote. We're going to go from my book. We'll go chapter 5, Leonardo da Vinci. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Now, some people find Elliott wave theory really complicated, and it is complicated, especially the academics, because the academics would really try and put a count on everything. What I like to do is practical Elliott wave theory. In other words, I want it to help me and serve me to make decisions and gives me a viewpoint on how to look at the market. If the market is likely to make a new high, or if a top has been made, a beginning of a correction, the end of a correction, the end of a trend. And that's where it can be incredibly powerful. So I'm not too fussed about being right or wrong. It's about making money. And how do we make money? Well, we have to have a thesis, a theory about what we believe the market's going to be doing based on an edge. And then we bet on that edge with tight risk management, and then we manage that trade. So we'll keep a very close eye on Bitcoin. Let me know what you think in the comments below. 25,000, is it going to reach there? We'll see. But just know we are due a correction.